Welcome back, disc golf fans, to the round two back nine coverage of the 2023 MVP Open at Maple Hill, presented by OTB, a disc golf pro tour playoff event presented by Barbasol. Happy to be back out here for this back nine coverage. We've seen lots of birdies and lots of bogeys so far during round one and the front nine here of round two. I'm Nathan Queen, again joined by Andrew Fish.
And it is always a delight when the Pro Tour descends on this gorgeous private course outside Leicester, Massachusetts. Been an annual stop for quite some time, and so far Calvin Heimberg trying to seize control of the tournament as the lead card a little bit slow, but Ricky Wysocki on our chase card making some moves.
Yeah, a couple other players as well, seeming that 3-2 down mark through 9 is making moves out here.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes. Hole 10, 377, uphill, elevated onto a little castle. Backhand power shot is going to be the move here. Although you're very low in the woods, can be difficult to read what the wind is doing up top.
Yeah, we saw a lot of players go over top of these trees right yesterday, but with the wind a bit more today, Ricky Wysocki choosing a lower line, maybe to stay below that wind, and executes it very well. He's going to be inside circle 1.
This looks like similar disc to what Eagle had thrown on 1. Suggests high hyzer to me, trying to get some flip up.
And does get a bit too much flip up there, or not quite enough height. One of the two. He's going to get caught up in those Christmas trees on the right side, most likely looking at a par.
Yeah, I think if he lifts, he's in a similar spot to where he was yesterday. Luke Taylor. Big high hyzer. To the moon, and that's probably going to put him into the woods on the left. May have a putt, but may have very low ceiling.
Yeah, still got pretty good distance for how high that got. Almost still able to reach the pin. Marwede gonna go low driven line here.
But seems like that also picked up and then stalled into the woods. Leaves him with an upshot from a funny stance here.
Yeah, tricky to decide where you want to put this one at. He is going to try to get over that wall and maybe put him where he could have played to in the first place, just off to the right. Nice to not have too much treachery from that roll away.
Yeah, that can squirrel away from you in a hurry, leaving you with another approach shot, not even a putt. And Luke Taylor, maybe not quite the right wind read. Wysocki gonna play real quick here. Perhaps a lull in the wind.
Yeah, it does look like those banners dropped off for a moment. And he's able to capitalize. Hits that uphill putt, moves him down to 3 down now on the round. And into solo third.
And Marwede, confident stroke to salvage the par.
Yeah, just 10 birdies on this hole today. So lucky for you guys, Ricky Wysocki here on Gatekeeper card, able to show you how to do it.
Yeah, so far 3 birdies. Is that 3 or 4 birdies that we've seen in 2 rounds here?
Good question. We're now on hole 11 with 804-foot par 4. You'd like to land in that open area there where all of the Christmas trees are not at. And then you still have this fairly tight gap to hit late, with a bit of a low ceiling and easy to kick off to the right side. If you get down that hill too far, it gets a little scrambly in there.
Right to left heady. The major components here. Wysocki going to play hyzer out to the right side. Manages both of those nicely. and dunks himself in the short grass.
Yeah, you can't really ask for a whole lot better than that. And strange to see, it looks like the wind is a bit down here. This is kind of at the top of the hill a lot of the time, where the wind picks up more out here at Maple Hill.
And pretty controlled swing by McMahon. Not going for huge distance. He may be on the left side with an obstructed look, it seems like. Often have to fight through Christmas trees if you're not centered up.
Luke also not looking to really bite off a whole lot of distance here, going very high hyzer and a bit shorter than Eagles, and also just as left. We'll see what he has to work with there.
If anything, I think that's going to open up his angle of access a little better by being further back. Marwede, same kind of width as Wysocki.
Man.
And pretty short, but in the landing zone.
Yeah, he'll be first up to throw here. Probably still close to that 400 mark, if not a little more.
And appeared to me trying to play hyzer flip, but never got the flip part correct. So he's going to be left with an upshot from about 100, 120 feet.
Luke from the left side finds down the fairway. He's going to have himself a circle 2 look.
Eagle kind of throwing across the gap, but favorable reaction of no reaction into circle 1.
Yeah, that was a pretty wild looking shot for a straight shot.
And forehand out of Wysocki, clips on the way in, but still manages to find circle 2.
So Eagle gonna have the best look here. Marwede with a long hero opportunity.
And low stress par. You can live with that on hole 11. Maybe fight some battles when the wind is a little more favorable.
Wysocki trying to give that one a bid, but gonna come up just a bit short. Luke Taylor trying to connect for his first birdie of the round.
Not quite. I've been in this position that Luke has been at Maple Hill. It feels like the world is kind of crumbling. You're not really getting your looks to go. But he played such a good first round that all it takes is a couple birdies to fight back to even, and he can still be in the mix.
Yeah, definitely so. One of the courses where you see the lead change or the top 3 change pretty often, with just kind of only moving up a stroke or 2.
Hole 12, 710 feet, a par 4. Got to throw over the trees on the right side, ideally with something that moves a little bit from left to right into this landing zone. And from there, you got to solve the problem. It's going to play steeply downhill, often with a little bit of break in your shot, but a very fast green because of how downhill you're having to go. Yesterday, we saw a couple players actually work their way into the woods. Eagle, a player with that kind of potential, but he's going to follow his round 1 sort of mistake, and actually with enough speed to fight down to the middle of the gap. Holy cow.
Just incredible from Eagle McMahon. Reaching that gap has to be 500 feet of power. And he's able to slide down into pretty much the center. I don't think you can do it better.
No. Eagle needs to convert this. And Wysocki just about matching it. Holy cow.
Wow. Yeah, I don't have much to say on those drives. Those are too good.
And not a whole lot different here out of Luke, although that will stay pretty high on the hill.
Yeah, that does cause a excuse me, that does cause a bit of a funny angle. Hard to get the forehand all the way down there, but hard to get the backhand to pan back out. Uh-oh. What seemed to be a bit of a late release on 11 has transferred into hole 12 as well, but a lot more detrimental here as he's going to be well early.
Yeah, pretty bad yank out of Marwede.
Yeah, and going to be first to go here again, already throwing 3. From kind of that funny angle, he might be far enough back he can get this to stand up, but no, that was such a difficult shot. Just trying so hard to get the angle right, not quite able to hit the line.
And going up and over is Luke Taylor. From that high on the hill, the trees aren't that imposing. You just have to get the distance before you crash down. This is now Andy Marwede's 4th to keep his round going.
Yeah, needs to limit this to single bogey, if at all possible, and executes a nice shot there, uses that counter skip to get himself inside circle 1.
This is something we can probably talk about on some other holes later, but you need to keep your bogey strokes to the holes that have out of bounds in play.
When Ricky Wysocki getting a bit of an evil roll there. His Raptor eye running away from him.
Kind of a funny stance here, but Eagle just a putting motion for his second.
Look how this was his drive, guys. Don't forget, we have watched some upshots and a lot of stuff go on already. That was Eagle McMahon's drive.
And wow, what a putt from Luke Taylor. If that's how you're going to break the seal, that's quite the way to do it.
Yeah, what a way to get the first birdie of the day. Huge putt. Is this even circle 2?
It sure looks like beyond to me.
Lines it up dead center on it, low in the chains, no chance it's coming out. Nice birdie there from Luke Taylor. Good to see him get that on the board.
And still with a putt here is Wysocki for his 3. But that roll makes it a lot harder than it had to be.
Eagle McMahon starting to get moving a little bit here on this back 9. He's now got 11-12, 2 under par, and in a tie for 5th.
Yeah, and harkening back to the front 9, he seemed a little unfocused after his upshot on hole 6 and then jammed a putt. He's been different since then.
Here we are at the 13th, a 472-foot par 3, well downhill. Pretty much playing down that same hill that you saw the second shot go on 12, but from a bit higher up. Got a late gap to hit, and the basket's been pushed back just a little bit from where you see right here, making that collection point in the ditch a bit of a scarier putt than it used to be. Eagle McMahon looking to go up over top here rather than trying to hit that late gap.
Yep, just the big gap in the sky. Hope for some favorable tree play. And I think that's kind of, I don't know where that went. I don't know that the guys at the top of the hill know where it went. You kind of just have to rely on the spotter.
Yeah, I think that's an advantage of being a pro out here on the tour. You have spotters so you can throw shots like that. As Luke Taylor
Draws a gorgeous backhand off the left tree, holds a ton of speed, and gets a rough reaction off the bridge, but will be putting for his bird.
Yeah, definitely could have done without that bridge kick. But you can't really throw that line a whole lot better. Had the great speed on it and everything. A little bit low there from Ricky Wysocki.
Marwede going to play to his strengths with the forehand. And wild wind drop immediately. Now the lift. And the crowd behind and at the green both love it.
Yeah, absolutely loving it. They love watching those discs bounce up and down a lot more than the players do, I can tell you that.
And McMahon, thinking about some cheeky options, instead opts to putt right side up.
I was going to say, we might see even more creativity than we saw on hole 4 there for a moment. Luke Taylor trying to go back-to-back and able to connect. Forget about that bridge kick. Back-to-back birdie is going to put him one over on the round now.
Marwede with a short look, and no wind bounces to be found there as he's going to fight back to even.
Yeah, a couple good birdies and a couple pars.
Hole 14, 440 feet, a par 3, almost all of that water. Another iconic water carry here at Maple Hill. With the wind, a little bit tailwind left to right, you need to throw something overstable, trust it out over the water, but know that it's not going to swing back as much as you need at the end. You have to be the one to get it back on land.
This is out there pretty wide from Luke. It is starting to drift back, and my goodness.
Well, you can't catch it, bud. I know that's the reaction, but
Well, what's the play there?
as far as I know, it's where the spectator contacted it, or it's where the group agrees that it would have landed without interference. So we'll see what they decide.
Another wildly big skip there for Marwede, but a little bit shorter than the crowd. And unlike baseball, I doubt that spectator's going to get to keep that souvenir.
Eagle with a very safe shot. Maybe afraid of the 4 possibility and won't have a putt from in the woods. I like this from Wysocki, although it is dropping.
Oh, and it dropped just enough. He's going to check up on that hill, be well inside circle 1 as we'll take another look.
And a great check onto the hillside. Leaves Ricky about 20 feet away. And even the aggressive Eagle McMahon wants no part of that putt. Will settle for a 3. Marwede with a marginally better angle.
It looks like he does want a part of it. And he can go ahead and grab the whole piece as that one just kind of tickles its way on into those chains. Back-to-back birdies now. Andrew Marwede has himself under par.
And I have forgotten that there was a ground rule here. Any disc that lands in the bleachers is going to play from a drop zone, no penalty between those bleachers, just so that they don't have to scatter the spectators more than they already have.
All right. Ricky Wysocki able to capitalize. Get his birdie as well. 32% of the field. That's 23 players able to do so on hole 14. And then well done by the spectator then. He must have known the rule. Moves us into hole 15. One of the tighter par 3s on the course, 322 feet. Again, similar to hole 4, making you back off of your disc or your power a little bit after throwing a bit harder shots throughout the rest of the course. Really have to decide whether you want to push a mid-range down there or go with a forehand flex shot, I guess.
Yeah, Marwede's not the only one trying that shot. There's a lot of open space, particularly on the right side once you've hit that first gap. Wysocki needs a counter skip or to just carry left. That's going to leave him in circle 2, maybe circle 3.
Yeah, didn't quite get the height or the stand-up that you need on that one. Luke Taylor also going down that straight gap. Does get the height, but looking for it to stand up a bit more. Or just stay clean, hit that tree, and roll back into almost bullseye. Luke Taylor looking to card himself another birdie now.
That is a Family Circus cartoon.
Well, it's the hole for it. If you remember, Raven Newsom had some circus activity on this basket. Eagle McMahon wanting to try that rollback method, but hasn't quite joined that circus yet.
Ricky Wysocki.
There's the right running raptor legs there. As we take another look, Ricky Wysocki, low left side, back-to-back birdies, 5 under par now.
Yeah, seemed like he had to check around the tree to see if he had made it. Highlight putt from Rick. Marwede, also from deep C2. And able to slam it home.
Why not? Back it up, Andrew Marwede. Gobble, gobble on that cookie mini. Dead center on it. Nice solid fist pump there. Marwede has worked himself back to 2 under par.
Yeah, after a couple shaky holes here, and I would include 10, 11, and 12 in that, he's also found a different level of focus.
And Eagle McMahon coming up just a bit short after 2 huge putts from his competitors. Not quite able to connect. Luke Taylor able to get the birdie and back to even.
Hole 16, 476 feet, a downhill par 3. Kind of plays over a couple sets of valleys here. There is OB down the entire left side should you get a nasty kick. And the basket out in an open field.
Back to hole 15 right quick. Matt Bell able to card the ace. Only one on the day today.
It's a good one to have the basket get in the way. Marwede to the forehand here. This is tracking towards that left side. And we'll get the green flag.
Yeah, nice to catch a tree and not find that OB all the way on the left.
Ricky barking at his disc to turn. The wind is going to help him considerably.
Oh, yeah. He is all the way through the gap and has actually gone long of the pin. Gonna have a comeback putt now. Looking for another birdie to move him to 6 under par.
And a good line. Another hyzer flip. We've seen Luke Taylor do that excellently a couple times. This time, we'll get bogged down about 120 short, but still a very effective shot. And Eagle McMahon pin straight. That would have worked in a fairway about a third the size.
Wow. Beautiful shot from Eagle McMahon. We'll take another look from the backside. Just perfect stand up. Goes straight the entire flight. Beautiful.
And good scramble from Marwede. Gets into circle one. Still has a little bit of work left. Taylor tries to ring it up. And favorable catch on the right side from Marwede. He had to throw that basically at the band and let the wind drop it. So nicely done to salvage a par. Now to Wysocki's birdie look.
Oh, and just a little bit low right side. Maybe a bit nervous. He was having to putt back, or not nervous, but just tentative, having to putt back into that headwind. Didn't quite get the reactions that he wanted. Is able to connect for the comeback par putt.
This is also one of the squishier greens. Can be a little difficult to trust your footwork. But Eagle close enough, that's not an issue. And Luke Taylor going to get his 3.
Moves us to hole 17, 636 foot. Par 4, you like to get out over these Christmas trees, and the closer you get to that OB line long, the more open your angle is going to be to approach this basket. The farther to the right you are, the more pinched off and in danger you are of reaching that OB left on the approach as well.
With the crosswind moving from right to left, difficult to get the nose angle quite right without stalling out. McMahon, nice flat release now drifting. Does get slammed a touch, but out in the open, around 200 feet to the green.
Pretty well executed there. Looks like Marwede going to go with the forehand. Really need this to push out straight pretty far before it does any type of fading.
And Marwede, a good candidate to throw shots just like that. Shorter than Eagles, but still a very effective shot. Should leave another forehand into the green.
And Wysocki going to go for more distance here. A little bit low, and again getting drug over to the right.
Seen mostly hyzer releases out of Luke. He's going to take an extra moment to compose himself. And such a slow, measured run-up. Good and explosive through the gap, but burns it over to the right side. And
with all
moves.
that with all that height, he's found some spectators over there. And gonna be pretty much in par land there. I don't think there's gonna be an angle that he can attack the basket.
Certainly not without testing the out of bounds line on the left, as you noted in your preview. Marwede too far to the left on the forehand approach. That's in my opinion, an unforced error.
This is pretty low out of Ricky, but it looks like he's going to catch just enough height to keep him from cut rolling into that OB on the left side. He's going to have himself a circle one birdie look.
Yeah, quite the shank bird for Rick. And decent fight out of Luke Taylor to go through the stuff.
And like you said, Eagle McMahon pretty close to the basket. He's going to be able to go with a standstill putter shot here and executes that very well. Drifts it over that hill nicely. Very well shown touch.
Nothing but empty space beyond this basket if Luke is going to try to run it.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
And yeah, that's probably his best bet is the hope after releasing that. Marwede for 4.
My goodness.
What a great safety net it is to have that circle 2 putting, huh?
Yeah, like, oh, I threw a bad drive. That's okay. I'll just can this 60-foot birdie putt on hole 15. Oh, I threw my upshot OB. That's okay. I'll still get a par. Just incredible stuff there from Andrew Marwede, as Ricky Wysocki has now missed a circle 1 putt on the last 2 holes.
And both times very frustratedly having to convert the par putt. Arguably harder than his birdie looks.
I would say so that time, certainly. I'm going to putt back uphill. Luke also able to connect, though, on that comeback putt.
And Eagle with the easiest look of the bunch, finally to his birdie attempt. And birdie make. Hole 18, your start down in a hole of this 640-foot par 4. Aggressive shots get out into this clearing that leaves a forehand or backhand turnover into a tight green. I've also seen some players trying to throw flex shots over the right side of the first part of the fairway where the diamond tee is. McMahon with the flippier driver. Following that, and might need some help on this. Very far up the fairway, but pinched on the right side.
Is that an intentional play that way?
Yeah, and I don't care for it. To me, they've lost a couple cedars here, and you're throwing over top of some younger trees.
Yeah, it looks a bit scary. Looked like that was going OB to me the entire flight, but does stay in bounds. Marwede able to punch through that last tree. Now going to be in a position to make a decision whether he wants to go for that green or not.
Yeah, pretty far back with a tough angle and managing a crosswind you can't quite feel until you're out into the real opens part. Wysocki also going to stall out to the right side.
Yeah, funny angles from there. Pretty difficult to cut through the right side onto the island. Although it is possible, but from where they're at over on the right, close to that wall, the angle for the mouth of the island is very difficult for them to hit.
And Luke Taylor crunches his drive in pretty good position to line up a forehand. Marwede trying the hero play from well back, but can't get to the corner of the green.
Yeah, I gotta come up just short. Wysocki going aggressive backhand line. And what a shot. So much difficulty in that to get the distance and the turnover right.
Yeah, absolutely. The wind plays havoc with that, and even if you land it on the green, you're not really pushing into the basket. Taylor with a good wide forehand. And it looks like a clean basket catch from the spectator back there. But alas, Luke going to have to go to the drop zone throwing his fourth.
Yeah, just too much power on that. Which I guess is the mistake to make, although anytime you go OB on this hole, you're not really in a position to make that, in a great position to make that putt, as Eagle McMahon has now put himself in a fantastic position to make that putt with another difficult backhand turnover.
Yeah, absolutely. That shot by Eagle was huge. Just a putter thrown slowly with a ton of angle and spin on it to stay in the air. And Luke Taylor going to close out his round with a highlight putt. Even probably not what he was looking for, but good fight. Going to stay in a tie for 14th place. Very respectable at this event.
Absolutely so. After especially 3 over through those first few holes of the round, he fights his way back to even with a few big putts at the end. Way to claw yourself back inside that top 15.
And Ricky Wysocki, as a Wysocki will do, fights himself to 6 under and will actually be jumping up to tie for second and on the lead card for round 3.
And Eagle McMahon has this very short putt here to be in that tie for second as well. Gonna be good enough to put him on lead card also.
Marwede going to give up a stroke with the bogey, but anything under par, doing a pretty darn good job today. And Nathan, you'll love to see it out of McMahon and Wysocki. Clean back nines, 9 under par collectively among them. And as we go into Saturday's round, we're going to see Ben Calloway, Simon Lizotte, Evan Smith, and looks like Niklas Antila on our Gatekeeper card in some high winds.
Oh yeah, very exciting card to watch. Excited for you all to see Evan Smith, another player from North Carolina with smooth power forehand and backhand. Thank you guys for joining us out here at Maple Hill for this round 2 back 9 coverage. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can check out round 3 for Andrew Fish. I'm Nathan Queen. We'll see you guys out there.